The Baroque churches of the Philippines. There are 4 churches that are cultural heritage included on UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The Baroque churches of the Philippines is a serial inscription consisting of 4 Roman Catholic churches constructed between the 16th and 18th centuries in the Spanish period of the Philippines. They are located in separate areas of the Philippine archipelago, 2 at the northern island of Luzon, 1 at the heart of Intramuros, Manila, and the other part in the central Visayas island of Iloilo. Their unique architectural style is a reinterpretation of European Baroque by Chinese and the Philippine craftsmen. The 4 churches that was included are: first, Santo Tomas de Villanueva Church in Iloilo; second, San Agustin Church in Manila; third, San Agustin Church in Paway, Ilocos Norte; lastly, fourth, Nuestra Señora de la Asunción in Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur.
How and when they were included in the World Heritage List. Criteria for Baroque churches of the Philippines inclusion of cultural properties in the World Heritage List. The group of churches established a style of building and design that was adapted to the physical conditions in the Philippines, which had an important influence on later church architecture in the region. The Baroque churches of the Philippines represent the fusion of European church design and construction using local materials and decorative motifs to form a new church building tradition.
Santo Tomas de Villanueva Church, location in Yagao, Iloilo, year inscribed in UNESCO 1993. One of the UNESCO heritage sites in the Philippines is the Church of Santo Tomas de Villanueva, Yagao. It is among the best examples of fortress Baroque style in the country. Built of yellow-orange sandstone, the church stands on the highest elevation of the town and was completed in 1797. The church withstood typhoons and earthquakes and was burned twice. First was during the revolutions against Spain in 1898, and the second was during the Philippine-American War. The church overall architectural style falls under the Baroque Romanesque architectural style. Its ochre color is due to the materials used in constructing the church: adobe, egg, coral, and limestone. The church foundation is 6 meters deep and massive stone walls at 1.5 meter thick are intensified through the use of 4-meter thick setback buttresses as protection to the Moor invaders, as is stipulated on the Royal Decree 111 of 1573 Law of the Indies.
Church of San Agustin. Location: Intramuros, Manila. Year inscribed in UNESCO 1993. Type: cultural. Like the other Baroque churches that are cultural heritage sites in the Philippines, San Agustin Church in Intramuros, Manila exhibits its remarkable features such as retablos of high Baroque style and wall buttresses separating crypto-collateral chapels. What makes this World Heritage Site unique is its ceiling paintings in the trompe-l'oeil style. The San Agustin Church is patterned after some of the magnificent temples built by the Augustinians in Mexico. The present edifice was built in 1587 and completed together with the monastery in 1604. The atmosphere is medieval since both church and monastery symbolize the majesty and equilibrium of a Spanish Golden Era. The UNESCO World Heritage Site San Agustin Church, built between 1587 and 1606, is considered the oldest and longest standing church in the country. The church was the only structure left intact in the Intramuros during World War II.
Paway Church, Church of San Agustin, Paway, Ilocos Norte. Year inscribed in UNESCO is 1993. Church of San Agustin or Paway Church is known for its extravagant coral black buttresses and ornate stone finials and is among the 5 examples of tangible cultural heritage in the Philippines. The construction of
Church of Nuestra Señora de la Asunción, Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur. Location, Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur. Year inscribed in UNESCO, 1993. Type, cultural. Another Baroque church that among the 5 examples of tangible cultural heritage in the Philippines recognized as one of the UNESCO heritage sites in the Philippines is the Church of Nuestra Señora de la Asunción in Ilocos Sur. Built in 1765, the Church of Nuestra Señora de la Asunción exhibits a monumental brick facade and reinforced walls to protect it against earthquakes. Its appearance evokes a Mediterranean hill town, the only example of such in the Philippines. Its key features include an 85-step stairway that leads to a carving of the Virgin Mary atop a tree and a bell tower which was added in 1810. The power and simplicity of its geometric forms and its location make this UNESCO World Heritage Site Philippines an outstanding example of peripheral Baroque architecture.
This group of churches established a style of building and design that are outstanding examples of the Philippine interpretation of the Baroque style, and represent the fusion of European church design and construction with local materials and decorative motifs to form a new church building tradition. Churches' important attributes comprising its architectural ensemble and manifesting the uniqueness of their style are all within the boundaries of property. The church's fabric, to a considerable degree, is well preserved, although some parts may have deteriorated due to environmental conditions and passage of time. Although areas covered by the churches and their surrounding complex have been recognized during inscription, buffer zones in some of them were undefined. The recent delineation of buffer areas provides an added layer of protection to the core initially identified. The Baroque churches of the Philippines of the peripheral Baroque style have maintained in authentic features and admirable building technology. Those all 4 churches meet UNESCO criteria 2 and 4. The effort by the government geared towards responsible restoration and conservation have resulted in the retention of the original materials and substantial features of the Baroque churches.
3 sites we think should be included on World Heritage Sites. Number 1. Batanes, Philippines. Most people who have been to Batanes would say it's paradise. The isolation of its 10 small island from the rest of Luzon has been a blessing in disguise, as evidenced by its perfectly preserved culture and architecture. The old stone houses designed to withstand typhoons have become an icon. So are the pristine white beaches and postcard birthday rolling hills that could rival that of Ireland's. The province of the friendly Batanes is also home to many migratory birds, and one of the few remaining sites where pink and red corals are found. With an intact culture and distinct natural landscape, no wonder why Batanes has been a World Heritage Site, contender that meets that outstanding universal value criteria on UNESCO. To represent a masterpiece of human creative genius in the Batanes stone houses built by Ivatan and more. The smallest and the northernmost province of the Philippines, the 11 islands of the Batanes archipelago form a unique cultural landscape, relatively isolated from both Taiwan to the north and mainland Luzon province to the south. Many of the region's history and tradition have persisted into the modern era. Recognized as a key site in the migration of the Austronesian people across the Pacific, Batanes is also notable for the response of the local population. The Ivatan to the challenges of their environment and the remarkable fusion of colonial influence and local culture. To contain superlative natural phenomena or areas of exceptional natural beauty and aesthetic importance, they have to be an outstanding example of traditional human settlement, land use or sea use, which is representative of a culture or human interaction with the environment, especially when it has becomes vulnerable under the impact of irreversible change. UNESCO criteria that meets Batanes. After a nomination for inscription, on UNESCO World Heritage List in 2007, was referred for revision. UNESCO asked the Center for World Heritage Studies to work with officials in the Philippines to develop, rework, and resubmit the nomination dossier. CWHS Director Arthur Chen and Research Fellow Benjamin Ibarra Sevilla conducted a research mission to Batanes in September 2007, resulting in recommendation for the revised dossier to be resubmitted in fall 2008. Recommendations include expanding the nomination site to include the entire Batanes Archipelago province, revised nomination criteria, and increased focus on the cultural and ecological value of traditional land use patterns in the area. They should consider its revision and accept this as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because truly it is breathtaking paradise.
The second tentative list is the Chocolate Hills of Bohol. Its unique qualities led to it being declared a National Geological Monument in 1988 and is worthy to be considered to be one of UNESCO Natural Heritage for it meets the criteria of 7 and 10. 7 to contain superlative natural phenomena or areas of exceptional natural beauty and aesthetic importance. 10 to contain the most important and significant natural habitats for in situ conservation of biological diversity, including those containing threatened species of astounding universal value from the point of view of science or conservation. The conical hills, numbering to as many as 1,776, are fascinating, and it is a home for many threatened species and for conservation of many species around the world.
The third tentative list is Mayon volcano. The active Mount Mayon in Albay has charmed people with its beauty and danger, aside from its perfectly conical shape. Mayon makes its presence known through its towering heights of 2,462 meters and unpredictable behavior. In terms of biodiversity, this active volcano also never failed to impress. In fact, the Mayon Volcano Natural Park is home to a wide variety of flora and fauna, some of which are endemic species like the giant golden crown, flying fox, and Philippine warty pig. A perfect cone plus diverse natural resources make Mayon Volcano a place worth protecting. That's why it should be in UNESCO, because Mayon Volcano meets one more criteria to be part of it.